Hey guys, welcome to another challenge. Today is going to be a fairly short one. Um, why? Because this in front of you is one sentence, and I kind of just wanted to show you guys one of the longest sentences we've come across in the book Divergent, and it starts with an "and," which once more kind of goes to show you that narrative writing can begin with and but. And remember from our previous challenge where we had the sentence of a list of things that were happening, and we ended up with this beautiful image of a train kind of rolling by. And as soon as that was mentioned, we see this, okay? And it begins with an end. So a very dramatic kind of entrance from a break into boom, hey, something else is happening here. So it is quite a long sentence. And we're going to take a look at how it's constructed, and two, how can we actually get away with sentences this long? Well, let's get started first by doing what we've always been doing, and that is to divide the sentence up into sections based on the punctuation. So we have a comma over here, we have another comma over here, then another comma over here, and then a period at the very end. So we have just three major separations within this entire sentence. So let's look for the subject and predicate next. So we have and as the last few cars. So again, last adjective, few adjective, and our main subject is right there, which is cars, and then the predicate pass. Okay, again, verb of motion, which means that it's probably not going to take a lot. It's not going to take a direct object, but we see a comma right there. So a hint is this as, okay? So, and again, an adverb introducing some kind of a temporal sense, and by temporal I mean time, which means something is happening as something else is happening. Okay, so here the last few cars are passing, and then our next subject should begin. Then there's another adjective here, mass, and then we get exodus. Okay, so an exodus followed by possessive. Who possesses the exodus? It's the young men. So I might as well just circle this as a possessive. And then we have a conjunction. And once again, same thing. Women, part of the exodus, so that is another possessive. And then they're going to tell us what they're wearing. So it's a preposition in, clothing, it's dark, and then finally we get to the predicate. Okay, so notice that a lot separates the subject and the predicate from each other, but at the end of the day, exodus, hurl. Okay, and then we have cars pass. All right, what's in between exodus and the predicate describes the exodus, and it's perfectly acceptable to do it. Okay. Next, we have another subject here. Some, dropping and rolling. So notice we have those ing endings without an auxiliary verb in front of them. We are dealing with participles. And these participles are going to be describing something that is before this list. Okay, there's no subject here. There is no predicate here. So it's describing this. And what I'm probably thinking about is that this some dropping and rolling was referring to themselves. Okay, so the mass exodus of young men and women in dark clothing hurl themselves, some dropping and rolling, and then others stumbling. So again, we have a predicate nominative right there, and all of these participles, these verbs turned into nouns, or verbs turned into adjectives, are describing this mass exodus of young men hurling themselves, some dropping and rolling. Others, once again, here's another, right, predicate nominative, stumbling. And these will take a direct object, as I'll show you guys in a minute. Now, that's it. This entire long sentence is made up of two subjects and a predicate, and two predicates, okay? So we have as the last few cars pass, we have this dependent clause, right? Because we can't really finish the sentence off with the last few cars pass. And then what happened? And then we got a comma, and we have an independent clause, which is a complete clause and can, just stay put the way it is, okay? So quite a wonderful and complex sentence to be looking at. So once again, this here we finished, and don't forget that ends are conjunctions. Then we got a mass exodus of young men in dark clothing hurl, and who do they hurl? They hurl themselves, so that is the direct objects of the hurling. From, preposition, cars. And now look at this. These cars are moving, okay? And again, another participle, right? Turned into an adjective describing a noun and giving you this image of a car just moving, okay? There's some kind of action happening. And once again, if you're doing creative writing, if you're doing narrative, guys, keep those participles in mind. And if you need any further explanation on participles, let me know. I'll be more than happy to put a video together and let you guys know what participles are and how they work. Whenever you want to put some form of imagery into your stories, use participles. Okay, so instead of the tearful girl, you could say the crying girl. Notice the difference between tearful and crying. Tearful kind of just gets you this image of a girl with maybe welled up tears in her eyes, but the participle crying girl actually gives you the image of the girl in the process of crying. So huge difference if you're using adjectives and then you're using participles. So I really love the way the author gives you this this kind of a illusion of moving cars by simply inserting a participle. So once again, we got dropping and rolling. Others are stumbling, and because they do take direct objects, okay? They dropping and rolling, others stumbling, and they're stumbling a few steps, okay? So there you go. Before, right? Preposition. And then what comes after the preposition is what? Another participle. That's right. There's the ing. Here we have the present active participles, right? They're really easy. They just describe the nouns. They're either adjectives or you could use them as nouns. But this one, because it has a preposition, it is a gerund. Okay, so a gerund is a participle that it belongs to a preposition. And gerunds will take a direct object. So before regaining direct object balance, whose balance? Their balance. So I hope you understand why I just picked this sentence alone and no other sentence for this challenge. It's because it's so perfectly constructed with these participles, and it's full of them, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 participles in one of these sentences, and they're all there to create an image of motion, of something happening at the same time, right? And notice that it is happening as the last few cars pass. This little minor dependent clause detail at the very, very, very front there leads us to this whole array of things that are happening as these cars are driving by. Awesome. So because we only have one subject two subjects and 2 predicates, writing the verbs out will be fairly straightforward, or at least I'm hoping it will be. So here we go. The first one is cars pass. So how many cars? There's more than one, so that's third person plural, and it is present, it's simple, it's active, and it is an indicative, which is true. Mass exodus. So remember, the mass is just an adjective here describing exodus. The exodus is also third person, but it's not plural, it is singular. So third person, singular, and present. Simple, active, indicative. Wonderful. Okay, so that's it. A sentence this large, made up of only 2 subjects, 2 predicates, one a dependent clause, the other an independent clause, and then a total of 5 participles that provide you with this really nice and complex construction. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Really happy that you guys are tuning in and learning. Let me know if you want me to explain those participles a little bit more coming up. I'll be happy to put up a video for that. And going forward, these are the last few weeks that we have together. I'm contemplating on doing perhaps a video about different noun cases, just something that you maybe could carry with you as you go through senior high or junior high next year. Just something to reference. And if you want to keep practicing as you go, doing those sentence diagramming, getting better at writing, getting better at comprehension, please, let me know in the comments or let me know via email, and I'll get that going for you. Take care and have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.